for him to do that way,
Clinton Jaws. This popped up on my computer. I'm about to go to bed, but instead I cracked open a nude. We're going to watch a little bit of this. It's a new podcast. Trudeau just shows up on a podcast, does an interview for an hour. And he brought something up, and I have to share it with you guys. I have to share it with you. I'm sorry for the hair. I look like hell. It's not my best moment. Please subscribe. I hate saying that because it feels like I'm begging, but your subscription means everything to me. Anyway, he talks about Jagmeets. He opens up. I thought he was going to cry at one moment. I'm like, are you going to cry, dude? I'm going to show you that in a sec. I just want you to see the beginning. Trudeau tells you, I got to get out and about. I got to start doing these podcasts. Watch this.
You're looking at your itinerary and you're doing the Colbert Show, and then you're going, oh, and I'm doing Uncommons with Nate. What is happening? How did these two end up on my schedule in the same week?
It's actually just right, because a big part of what I've been trying to do is have as many different conversations in different places about the challenges we're all facing. Because one of the things we learn, and we've learned over the past years, is if we don't go to where people are, then people aren't listening.
People aren't there. He's got 700 subscribers. If we don't go where people aren't there. They're not at his podcast. They're at Mr. Sunshine Baby. Northern Perspective, Moose on the Loose, The Pleb, Clinton Jaws. That's where people are. That's where you got to go. I just found that comical. He's going where people are. 700 subs. And I just got to show you this, just because it's ridiculous. To me, it's ridiculous. I got a table. This is where they're drinking water from.
Into a proper debate on electoral reform. I think there's
on the carpet.
A few paths to
picks it up from the ground.
Have moved forward without burning it to the ground.
What? It's got a tray. It's got a
I was
tray.
saying we
what do you call those things? A coaster.
2019 election and save the money.
Can't you get a TV tray?
I don't want to go down that.
Oh my God!
And
I don't know. I found it priceless. You can't afford a couple of corner tables, or what do you call them? A coffee table? Okay, let's get to the meat, because I know every other podcaster out here is going to dissect this thing, and I'm just going to focus on one thing. He whines a little here, and I've only watched it really quick, so I'm kind of watching this for the first time with you guys.
And then I'll leave you with an opportunity with my last question to do your own kind of rant, but just on an interpersonal side, like
I'm not going to interrupt.
I'm nothing if not persistent, and I've had no issue with FaceTime and building a relationship, and we don't always see eye to eye. But when people are like, "Oh, when was the last time you talked to Brent?" I was like, if I want to bother him, I'll bother him, and he will allow me to bother him.
They're friends.
It's a nice break in the day, actually. Usually when you come in.
No one else says that, but regardless, not all my colleagues feel that way. And I'm not going to get it into the SNC stuff. I'm not going to read Jodi's book, but there was an excerpt in there where she didn't have your cell phone number. I found that kind of astounding, and I don't know if Jagmeet Singh had your cell phone number, but if you were, part of me thinks if he did, and if you were regularly texting, if he felt like he was more attached and involved and connected, maybe he doesn't aggress. I know there's shameless politics at play there regardless, so maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't. Because politics, like
maybe he doesn't walk away from Saka. You mean?
Maybe not in quite the same way.
Maybe
not in quite
number?
The same way, because maybe he does. I'm not saying maybe, but I'm just saying. Everything depends on relationships. Like Charlie Angus isn't gonna screw me the same way some other NDP members are, because I have a relationship with him. Okay. I'm not gonna go after Michelle Rempel in the same way, because I have a relationship with her. Everything's relationships, and when you think of changing things in some way, does that enter the conversation?
Well, listen. I mean, the example with Jagmeet is an interesting one, because we created Saka together.
Yeah.
Because he just had a baby, and we just come through a brutal, grueling election where the NDP went around saying that we've done nothing as a government, right? I mean, you can say we've not done enough.
I'm running against the NDP.
Saying we didn't do anything,
there they go
was
again.
a really cynical ploy that undermines any faith that progressives have in, well, we elected this progressive government.
It was easy to run against, but
it was, but it hurt us. And I said, you know what, Jagmeet, we got to get past this. We got to. And I sat down with him, and I actually developed a really good working relationship with him. And we'd have great conversations about a whole bunch of things, and we'd get into policy, and and I'd meet with him and talk with him in person or on the phone.
Then what happened?
Every few months for the entire duration of SACA.
Okay.
And then when he decided to end SACA, he didn't even call me. Oh. Right, there was so the relationship obviously wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Where I know that if I had chosen to end it, it would have started with a call to him where I would have said, you know what, Jagmeet, it's not going to work. You make those tough calls. I don't know why he didn't reach out to call me, because I know what he cares about. I know the things that matter to him. I know he is genuine in wanting to see this country move forward in more progressive ways. For him to do that way, it bugged me, and it bugged me because I know these things matter to him, but having politics sort of kick in and him having to deal with pressures from his caucus or his base or whatever,
and the by-election,
and flip that, and the by-election, and like all those things just sort of emphasize for me, okay, I wouldn't do that, and I still believe, and there's no hard feelings on it. We'll be engaging in that. So listen, I know that Jagmeet really cares about the environment. I also know he doesn't know what to do about the environment. And I'm happy to say that and argue with that, but I'm like, I know what we can do about the environment. I'm demonstrating how to reduce emissions and grow the economy and put money back in people's pockets.
We make you pay for it.
Come on board. And for him to say, oh, maybe we're not in favor of carbon pricing, it's like, oh, come on, really? This is why you wanted to step out of SACA? Because you're going to try and cozy up with Polyev or get away from the difficult conversation about how we continue to fight climate change? I mean, hard things are hard sometimes, and it just sort of disappointed me that he didn't pick up the phone and say, okay, this is time.
All right, so this is my last question, and
I hope it's about all the times you voted against me in the House.
Whether you like it or not, it was a real conversation. It is about as real as you're going to get from the guy.
People look at Pierre Poilievre and they imagine the damage that he'll do. Canada cannot, go down that road. People who do remember Stephen Harper do remember all the negatives out there and say, "Oh my God, this will be even worse," or "This is a challenge," and that motivates some people. But Liberals don't get out of bed to fight against something. We tend to fight for things.